Well, howdy everybody there in YouTube land. This is amateur artist Mark D. Chandler once again from Man Land, and this is part of our torture test. A little bit of a myth-busting episode here about cast iron. And in this particular episode, we're going to sit there and strip that Dollar General store piece of cast iron I bought for 10 bucks, the 9.5 inch. We're going to strip it using a campfire. Yeah, campfire. So don't cringe right away. Let's take a look and see how it actually works. Now, while I'm waiting for the fire to get kind of to the hot point where it's fully sustained, like I say, I'm using house pine that we ripped out of the bathroom. And that stuff is going to get hot. It's going to burn pretty quick. And if you do try to strip the seasoning off your cast iron, you don't want to use pine because pine has that residue in there. And it's going to get kind of gnarly. But I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone. One, I want to show that you can do this with pine, and two, that it is really a hot fire. We're going to make this thing as hot as we can in a small campfire type of setting. Now, I want to give a shout out to Lady Liberty Stacker and to Cooking with Cast Iron, as well as the Mud Broker. These three channels here, they're pretty much into cast iron, and their content is very, very excellent. Very excellent. This here is the Dollar General store cast iron 9.5 inch pan, fry pan. And the reason why I've got this rag around it is I have been cooking with it here at the house, cook some hamburgers and such. And let me just go ahead and show you the video of this thing in actual use. Ooh, dollar store tilapia, dollar store shrimp, dollar store scallops, and even dollar store light bread. We got some ketchup and some Louisiana hot sauce, but that wasn't dollar store. That come from somewhere else. Yeah, man, this stuff right here turned out pretty daggum good. Try not to tip my plate. But this wasn't a cooking show. That's not what this is about. It's about that cast iron. Dollar General store cast iron 9.5 inch skillet. Yep. Hey, this dude actually works pretty daggone well. However, I'm going to admit to you, the seasonings that come with this thing, you know, it's pre-seasoned, ain't worth a darn. I mean, it really ain't. I cooked some eggs in it this morning after I did that fish fry. But I didn't show you the video of me cooking an egg in this thing. And it had those black peppery specks on the egg. The seasoning just doesn't hold up very well. So I had to put a little more Crisco on it, get it kind of seasoned for my own likings, and then turn around and cook me some hamburgers. Here's the video of that. we're going to take this this piece of cast iron and we're going to throw it in a small campfire to try to remove the seasonings, the ones that was pre-seasoned on there and the ones that I added to it since I've had this thing. I had to make sure I had enough on there to show you that a campfire can remove these seasonings. But here's the myth. They say if you throw your cast iron into a fire, there's a very good chance you can damage your cast iron. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say that's baloney, because it can happen. But I have a theory, and my theory is just simply this. Here's a piece of cast iron that also comes from the Asian side of the world. This one here is made in Taiwan. And try to get where you can see it. Don't know if it's going to show up too good. This is made in Taiwan, but guess what? This is a ghost skillet. Right in there somewhere you'll see slightly, apparently, a little piece of a logo they tried to scratch off. That's right, somebody sold them a mold, but look at the machinery inside of it there. Now I've used this pan, I restored it, got the crud off. This was using Easy Off oven cleaner, and got it all re-seasoned. It is super lightweight because it's real thin cast iron. This is why they say not to throw your cast iron skillets into a campfire to try to remove the seasonings, because there's a very good chance if it doesn't crack it, it could warp it. That's the number one thing. And on this particular pan, the reason why I'm showing you this, it's going to be kind of hard to show this, but this is the only example I've got of thin cast iron and that so-called warpage. It actually has a high spot right in there, and it's going to be high on this side right here. It kind of warps. And so this puppy is a spinner, and it's the only pan I've got that has that type of damage done to it. Now, another part of this myth right here, the reason why they don't want you to throw the cast iron into a campfire to try to remove the seasonings is not only because of the warpage, crackage, and that type of thing, the damage you could do to it that way, but it's the fact that you heat it up so much that you actually change the molecular structure of the cast iron itself. So to the point to where the cast iron receives fire damage, and the seasonings will never stick to it again. Well, that's what we're going to prove and disprove in the second part of this here particular video. The first part is we want to see if it's going to crack or damage through actual burning off of the seasonings. It's going to be kind of interesting. Here we go. Torture test on its way. Cast iron is now in the fire, and we got wood that's still got nails in it, and the whole 9 yards. So that right there's even got a little tar paper on there. Yeah, that ought to help get it going good. Yeah, heat it up and make it work. All these little pieces here. I'm gonna pile that wood on top of it. Oh, here's a nice one. A big piece of 2x4 there. Yeah. Oh, let me get this rag out of my hand and get it going on, man. Now this portion of the video, I gotta give a shout out to my brother, Jiu-Jitsu 2000, for doing his torture test on one of his cast iron, the Ozark Trails, which I think is the 10.5-inch skillet. I could be wrong, but it was definitely Ozark Trail. And brother, I want to thank you for that. He actually turned around and seasoned his cast iron on the campfire, down and dirty type of seasoning there that worked pretty daggone well. Yeah, but hey, removing the seasonings, that's not what he was doing. He was actually testing the cracking, warping damage, because people were saying you can't throw that cast iron in the fire because it's going to crack, damage, and break and do all kind of unholy things. Well, he did. He proved them wrong. And well, this right here is not Ozark Trails. It's Dollar General store, but it's from made in China. It's fairly thick, and we're going to do the same thing. Let's see if this puppy melts, snaps, crackles, pops. What is it going to do? Let's find out. Adding the wood, adding the wood. Making the fire, making the fire. Torture test, torture test. This part right here, this burning down, the cast iron is heated back up, it's glowing orange again. And I'm going to go ahead and put it on the tripod. I'm going to dig it out and let it start its cooling down process. She is hot. Hot, hot, hot. Hotter than the first time. Whew. Cast iron from hell. Dadgum. Well, we got her did, and took her inside the house, a little soap and water, wash it off pretty good. I'm going to give you a close-up here in a second, but testing one little myth. Will cast iron, will it crack, break, warp when you put it in the campfire? And I can honestly say, on this particular piece, the one I've seen, close-up look, the answer is apparently not. But there's some interesting features here on this piece of cast iron. I actually found some rust on it. I'll show you that. That was underneath their seasoning. Underneath their seasoning. Now that's something I didn't expect. Let's take a look at this close-up. Well, there we have it. Straight out the campfire, out of the kitchen sink with some soap and water, and we've got ourselves some mysteriously looking metal. This thing splotches everywhere, and there's the rust that I'm talking about, right there in the pour spout. Now that right there is genuine rust, and it was underneath the seasonings that the pan came with. That's interesting to know. Oh, there's a rust spot. I call it a birthmark. Yep, that's more rust that I found. And we've got all kinds of colors and discolorations. This area over here, this right here is more or less from the heat, extreme heat. This is what I call heat markings. You flip this puppy over, not too bad on this side, but we do have some more discolorations. Let me get the camera off the stand. Yeah, some of the actual seasonings did not come off, because that's one of the drawbacks to campfire deseasoning. There is that you don't quite get total coverage that you would expect, which leads to the myth that they believe that parts of the pan will heat up more than the others, and that's what causes your cracks and your splits. Not so in this particular case, and to be honest, not so in any particular case that I've ever done. Except an aluminum pan. Yeah, I threw an aluminum pan back in there in the day when I was first learning this technique. I didn't know that you were allowed not to do that. Don't do it. Don't put your aluminum in campfires. But the cast iron seems to be okie dokie. But to see the rest of this video, I'm gonna have to shoot it another episode. We've got to see if this thing is going to take a seasoning, and we're going to re-season it just for the video. And as far as the myth goes, you can remove the seasoning from your campfire without damage to your cast iron. You just can. I'm kind of glad to get that stuff off of there, because I did not know that. Rust underneath the actual seasoning. There. And there. There. A little bit right there too. I think this right here is flash rust starting. Very, very interesting. Now folks, there's something I gotta sit here and say, so y'all don't think that I'm a total fan of throwing your cast iron into the campfire. That's not what this video is about. I have used campfires as a part of my stripping process to re-season cast iron when the crust starts to build up on it. And I was taught this back when I was a young teenager by my mom, and it goes back to grandmas and great-grandmas and all those other grandmas before them. Cast iron was treated this way back in the day. Now, I gotta sit there and tell you, nowadays, if it was my great-grandmama's or my grandmother's piece of cast iron, would I still do it even today? Well, knowing me, somewhat maybe, but not really, because now it's a family heirloom, and I don't want to take a chance on damaging that cast iron in any way, because it means too much to us and the family. Now, I don't have grandma's piece of cast iron or anything, So I have to break out something that was found at a yard sale, a flea market type of deal. This right here is a vintage piece of Wagner. It is thin-walled, and it's lightweight. And it has seen its better day. There's the inside view. No, it wasn't seasoned. This is something I did. There's the back side. You can see all the pits and such in there. It was in gnarly shape when I got it, but I was able to save it and salvage it. But there's a lot of pitting going on. Now this is a very, very thin piece of history right here. You can see it's a number 8, and has the trademark handle design. And it is unmarked. There is no markings on there whatsoever. If it was there, you can't read it no more. I say it's a Wagner because I really haven't seen too many Wagners, and I have to do some more research, that has this raised letter number 8. It's a raised 8. It's not an indentation. Which, anyway, it's a thin piece of cast iron. It was highly abused, and I took the time of using Easy Off oven cleaner on this thing, and a lot of, say, vinegar or water solution to get the remaining rust off, and carefully took the time to re-season it myself. But, so don't do the thumbs down because I'm telling you, you can throw your cast iron into a campfire. You can do it. And there's a big possibility, a great chance that you may damage your cast iron by doing it. But every time you see the experts say that, they really don't show the proof as to why you don't throw it in there. And in this video, as I stated before, I don't mind doing it because I've never broken or damaged one. But I would never put thin cast iron there, whether it's new, modern, or anything. It just won't hold up, I don't believe. But one day, we'll put that thin stuff to the test. Well, there you have it. This is amateur artist Mark D. Chandler once again from Man Land. Wishing you and y'all a very happy YouTube experience out there. And remember this. Cast iron. It can be chunked into fire. And cleaned up a bit. It sure can. Without damage. But I don't recommend you do this to your thin cast iron. Especially your collectibles, grandmas, the heirlooms, the whole 9 yards. I wouldn't recommend it. But I still do it.